Hey guys, welcome back to another Big Brothers of Destruction podcast episode. I have my brother, my brother in crime, just my brother in general, who I've been knowing for multiple years. I'm gonna let him introduce himself real quick. Go ahead, hit him with it.
My brother in crime, my brother in Christ, my brother from another mother. Yes, it's your boy Swag Switcher. And please, if you would note, currently we're doing this across from one time zone to another because I'm currently in Austin, Texas right now, handling some business during the South by time frame, completely unrelated to the South by Southwest. I was actually part of an event called Nerdcore Days, doing my thing, doing the music and everything, and it was a great hit. I actually sold a little bit of merch, which is
Good.
always a good thing and whatnot. It was a shirt and some stickers, but I sold something, and that's all I care about.
You
So
know, and especially from when we used to do music back, well, when I used to do music back in the day with you and everything, that was like the most of anything was some shirts and some small little things for anything. But it's still dope. I'm glad you're having a good time out there, and I know we wanted to still continue the pod today. I forgot to introduce myself. It's the Moscow. Let's just get it started from there. But so you've got this journey. You're over there in Texas. I remember last time we were here on the pod, we were talking about our wrestling origins, how we got into it, and even our, Mount Rushmore of favorite wrestlers. And I remember I actually had to revisit that too, because I did have one that I was like, wow, why did I even put them in there? But uh, I'm perfectly fine with my list. So I did have to I had to go back and think about it too. I was like, wait a second, why did I add this person?
are,
But
are you sure? You're not.
yes,
You
it
don't
was
want to
Naito.
tear down ahead and put a new one.
The thing about it is, it's like the only reason why I would put him on there because of the character that itself, like them as a personality itself. It's not really a lot for their matches, so it was Naito, and Naito is tranquilo, awesome. I'm a big fan of his character, his work. I haven't got the chance to see a lot of his work, only the stuff later years, so I can't really say him because I feel like that would be just bandwagoning or like just doing it immediately. But I'm perfect. That's why I had
Bandwagoning.
bandwagoning, jumping on the bandwagon and stuff like that. But I said I was gonna be perfectly fine with my list. But I know after we started getting into that Mount Rushmore, you had mentioned you had a couple of other questions that you wanted to dive into, and that is what we're going into today. So let's go ahead. I'm prepared. Hit me with one of them. What's the first question you got that's gonna make me deep dive and get all into this
Well,
into the noggin?
actually, because when you said the thing about bandwagoning, as I'm looking for my notes, because we was talking about Undertaker's chant off the off off the
The
thing,
ministry, yeah,
and
ministry off the pod, yeah.
yeah, and so oh, oh, hey, that will be useful. Why? Got it. All right, I shall use this just in case. Appreciate it. I
Breaking
had
news.
requested the, well, breaking news. No, it's a no. I was looking to see just in case. However, the I was looking for like the Wi-Fi password for where I'm at, and
Ah,
what was handed to me off screen here was indeed the Wi-Fi password. However, I'm using my hotspot at the moment because I wasn't sure if it was going to be choppy or if I was going to get any lag kind of thing using my hotspot because we're putting in some heavy duty power here streaming across country. Not really, but but
halfway.
just in case of lag. Yeah, just in case of lag, which please let me know if I start glitching or, like
Yeah,
twitching and sinking through my chair or whatever,
I will
then I
let you know.
can I can put this new password in.
Okay.
But but we was talking about Undertaker's old school chant that he used to do when he was part of the ministry. And
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining to him I used to I actually did like a deep dive trying to search for it and figure out where it came from, and more so was trying to actually find out what the actual words were, kind of thing, which fun
Well,
fact turns out.
before you kind of go into that, they kind of need to know why the conversation even started up. So, if you have not noticed on
Oh,
Swag Switcher's face, he very much has Ministry of Darkness Undertaker goatee. So that's why
yes,
when I
so
first got in the call with him, I just started doing the chant because I was like, he looks a lot like him, and that's kind of where the conversation spurred. So now we can kind of go back to where it was at.
yeah, yeah. For those who don't know, when it comes to Undertaker, Ministry of Darkness Undertaker is my favorite era of Undertaker and whatnot. From the look to just the overall situations that was going on, it's chef's kiss. But but I myself, when he chanted, it reminded me because I went on this random deep dive because I was like, how do you like what he was saying? What does it look like in word form? Because we say the noises, whether if it's directly on point or it just sounds like it, kind of thing. So I went and looked it up. Turned out there was a lot of people trying to find it, and at the end of the day, it led me to the movie Excalibur, which is directly where they got it from.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Excalibur, the chant is actually a chant for a spell called it's pretty much like it's a charm spell. I do believe they call it it's the charm of making or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like throughout the movie you'll see the guy Thrak, yeah, nah. Yeah, like going you hear it several times. And so I was like, when I first found that, I'm like, that's dope. Ain't shit original in wrestling.
Mm-mm. You kind of clipped
But
through when
we
you
all
said
do
it, but if you want to give the chant again another shot, you kind of like the audio kind of cut out when you did it.
oh, cause yeah,
High
cause it was
pitch, probably.
I was saying it loudly, yeah, cause the
Yeah,
no Nathrak, no trendiembre, like yeah,
yeah,
but I literally actually have it written down once I found it because I was like, I wanted to create the Ministry of Darkness in a D&D game of mine, which is also like a small little kick I get out of doing in D&D. I like finding ideas of wrestlers and seeing if I can create them in a D&D setting. And so far, I actually, now I'm thinking about it out
you have
loud.
Macho
So
Man
far,
so far.
yeah, Macho Man's the only one who I've actually created. However, I have an idea of how to do Undertaker, but I actually do have it separated where there's your regular Undertaker, which I think he would be. I think it's like ooh,
Funeral
what
March
was it?
Taker.
Yeah, so it's like the regular Undertaker would be he would be part ooh, what are the kicky punchy people right now? I'm drawing a blank on their
Monks.
names. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't remember what that word was, but he'd be like part monk and part sorcerer, and what at the as of what I believe is how I put it together. And then there is a second version of Undertaker, which would be the Ministry version, and I believe the Ministry version of Taker would be uh it was like wizard and something else, but I can't quite remember what it was, which that version is a bit more complicated to use and make. And then I think Kane, um like I was trying to figure out a way to make him different. He would mostly be sorcerer, but then from sorcerer, depending on how you'd want to play him, I believe he could either go off in one direction of being like a fighter
What about
or
Barbarian?
like n- so you could barbarian, but the problem is when you use barbarian in D&D, unless you're using homebrew, barbarians, they when they rage, they can't use magic. And so,
What if he no? What if he has a? And I'm not too big into D&D. Like my wife was trying to tell me I had a sumo character that I was going to create that I wanted to like use a kanobo, but monks in sumo, they're only supposed to do hand in hand combat. They're not allowed to use weapons. So I said, what if it was a weapon that kind of gave me a handicap? So like, say since Kane, he was set on fire. Say for every time he uses that magic, it sets him on fire. So it's like a handicap.
So, which you could, but the because like one of those things where I first try to think of how to make the game or how to make the character purely from using what is currently in the game.
Got you.
And so I make it that way, and then afterwards, if there's like little special touches or like special items that I want to include that would help make them better, like for instance, like with Kane, the one way to work around that particular issue is there's actually in the regular canon of D&D, there's like this necklace of fireball that like has like 9 uses of fireball that you can use. So it's like if he's raging, because he's not necessarily casting the spell, the necklace is, he could still throw fire type thing while he's raged out. Or when it comes to Kane, if you want to kind of do it like a transitional type deal, because fireball and using fire moves and stuff like that, most of those are long ranged situations. And so if you did go barbarian, you could, use all of your magic up front before, at the beginning of battle. And
I mean,
then once you've used all your magic,
he does come in with the instant.
yeah, so it's like you use all your magic at the beginning of battle, and then after you've run out of all your magic slots, that's when you rage, and then you start going in there and throwing hands, whichever way you'd want to do it. But the only deal is, when you're a barbarian, raging is key because barbarians don't have armor, and not having armor, you know, depending on how you roll your character, is going to depend on how much they're going to be able to take and stand. And so when you rage, you, and this is regardless of which, subclass of barbarian that you pick, when you rage, you automatically take half damage to bludgeoning, um, slicing, and piercing, slashing. Slicing is slashing. I was missing the word. So you take half damage from that, which is why barbarians can get up in the fray and not get knocked down, type of thing. However, unless you got some decent people who are in front of you while you're throwing and casting all of your fire moves before you rage, if you get hit, it's kind of like you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot a little bit,
Okay.
type thing. But that particular version is possible. Like I said, I don't remember what was it because like it wasn't barbarian. I thought of barbarian, and honestly, like if I wanted to make two different versions of Kane, regular Kane would be the one that would be mainly sorcerer, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was like sorcerer, or maybe it was sorcerer or warlock. Now I have, because like I said, it's been a minute since I looked into it because I haven't played regular D&D in a while because I've been playing alternative versions. But
Gotcha.
those two are ones that I've wanted to put in game to use and like have like my players go up against them. Like I literally had it all set up where it was like I took the Undertaker and Kane story and put it in a D&D setting with Paul Bearer being the mastermind causing the whole problem. And so it was one of those deals where the person who they needed to get rid of is Paul Bearer because Paul
Mm.
Bearer is controlling these two boys and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so I think
Okay.
the flow that it was going to be, it would have been like y'all would have, or the group, they would have first dealt with Undertaker and Paul Bearer first, and
Mm-hmm.
then but then they would have won, and then Undertaker would have become like an ally type situation, right?
Okay.
And then once Undertaker, so then what would have later on happened is the group would have run into Undertaker again because he was looking for them because now the situation where Kane comes up. So now Paul Bearer has, manipulated Kane, and Undertaker is he's conflicted because he doesn't want to hurt his brother and all this other stuff, and he wanted to get help. So then the group would help them out and do all this other stuff and whatnot. Kane's been beaten, and then they scare off Bearer and all this other stuff. Everything's good, and now they're brothers again. They're fine. Everything's cool. And then the last situation would have been that now Kane has come to find you guys because Paul Bearer has manipulated Taker, but Taker
Oh,
has
so kind of
become
like how
way
they
too
bounce back
powerful.
and forth in the storyline, and like, okay, so like one
Correct.
minute
That's
Taker is like got Paul Bearer, and 1 minute Kane has Paul Bearer, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like the original bit is the fact that Paul Bearer has control over Undertaker, right? And Taker does not want that to be his deal, but he's got it's a mind control situation because of the urn. And so when you free Undertaker from the possession of the urn, then you guys beat Paul Bearer and he fucks off kind of thing, right? He
Okay.
scurries away. And so Undertaker is free, he can be his own person type thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
And you can
cool.
draw up
And
an
then later
ally.
on, yeah, he becomes an ally. So like, if you run into him again, he'll help you, type
Mm-hmm.
deal. But then he does come and find you guys, or the group that's playing. He would find them because now Paul Bearer has come back, and he has threatened to destroy him using his brother. And he's like, I can't beat him, type thing,
Yeah, so just
because
like the storyline, yeah.
yeah, because he's like, but in this particular case, it's like I can't beat him because number one, he is way too strong, and the only way I could beat him with as strong as he is literally by killing him. So I need help, type deal, and I don't want to kill him because this isn't his fault and stuff like that, right? So
Okay.
y'all go through, deal with all of that, and now Kane has been liberated. He's free from Bear's clutches, and now they're
Mm-hmm.
brothers, and everything's cool. Well, you go off and do everything, kind of deal. Like this would have been much later in the game, but then there's a situation where now Kane has come to find y'all, or even more so, I would have did the thing. I was going to do the thing where it was like there'd be little whispers and little sprinklings and nuggets of like this weird thing called the ministry or whatever I had called it at the
Mm.
time. That's been brewing, and it's been this darkness that's like been slowly taking over, manifesting in this area that the characters would currently not be anywhere near, but they'd be getting close to having to go over into that section. And then what ends up happening is they'll run into like some of his minions from the ministry,
And you could
and
probably bring those
they're all
characters in
like,
there too, yeah.
and they're all like, "Whoa, who are these people?" Because they specifically seek you guys out, and they try to beat y'all, but y'all beat
Mm-hmm.
them, and then that ends up leading you to find Kane, and Kane's all like, "My brother's lost his mind. Paul Bearer somehow found a way to control him, but Paul Bearer lost control." And now he has become so powerful that not even Bearer can control him anymore, and he is in the process of doing this full on takeover of darkness type situation. And then it would have just been like a whole big deal trying to stop Ministry Undertaker type situation. And so that was that was the
Their
that was the
plan at
thing.
least.
That was the plan. It's still a
Okay.
plan. I it's in the back pocket for whenever I decide to start running like another D&D campaign,
Okay.
because it'll probably happen eventually one day, because it's it's a nice long term story that I can tell, because I'm a big long term story guy, especially when it comes to my fantasy settings and all that good
I
stuff.
mean, you gotta
But
find
yeah.
things that keeps the player base engaged, so that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Plus, with the current players that I have right now, they are, which is funny because I ended up teaching them what this meant, because they are the pure definition of working yourself into a shoot. They will be doing something, and they somehow find a way to literally be on the bike, take the stick, and put the stick in the wheel. of their
Mm.
own bite. They do that so well. And because they do that so well, it makes my job as the DM so easy because I'm like, you're going to do what? Okay, you do that. Here's what happens. And then we go into it. And now they literally took a D&D night where I was all like, I was just going to let you guys do a little bit of role play and let you guys get some shopping in the city. But instead, y'all decided to go into this room inside of this building and y'all touched something that wasn't supposed to be yours. Now we got something now the next 5 games that we have has spawned off of the fact that you touched this thing that didn't belong to you, and y'all have plenty of content, and I still have my actual game that I created that we
Mm-hmm.
haven't touched yet because we went on
That's
this little
also why
side
I don't play D&D. It's because you got people like that would just throw you off the trajectory, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of like the premise behind it. Is you're supposed to let the adventure develop and become something else outside of the main focus. But I had way too many people who would do that, and that's now also sounds like I don't need to play with that crew if I wanted to come back because I get pissed the fuck off. So,
But
yeah.
see, what I think you experienced is the people that you may have played with, they're the type of people that sound like they like to, there's this big universe they can explore, but they want to go chase squirrels. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And not just chase squirrels, but they want to chase squirrels in the backyard.
Yes.
And depending on who your DM is, they will either know how to take that chasing squirrels in the backyard and force you guys to get out of that backyard and then run to the street and then almost get hit by a car, cause a car accident, and now it's your fault. So now the cops are going to come and arrest you and all this other. Now you're in the middle of a trial and this, that, and the other. Or your DM just lets you guys chase squirrels around in the backyard and just kind of spin your gears because you're not going to catch the squirrel, and just make you guys think you're going to keep catching the squirrel until you don't, till you finally say, all right, I'm done chasing squirrels, I guess we can do the main mission.
Yes.
And so for you, I'm almost positive if I had you as one of my players, even if for whatever reason we got off topic and we started doing something else, you're not going to be mad or upset, and you're still going to be entranced in the game because I'm the DM that would make you chase that squirrel into a plot point. So even though that
Well,
squirrel had nothing to do with the main game, you're chasing this squirrel, and now that squirrel has caused you all these other weird situations to happen, and then the next thing you know, you're staring Undertaker in the face, and you're like, how the fuck did we get here when we was just bullshitting around chasing squirrels? I mean, granted, the other issue would be is the fact that now you guys don't get to shop. So I guess there's that'd be one thing you'd probably be mad about. Like, damn, I really wanted to go to the store and buy a hammer. Instead, now I gotta use this other weapon because the big bad guy is in my face now, type thing. Like, it's all
yeah.
about the versatility of your DM and also how much your DM will allow your characters to goof off per se and whatnot. So it has a lot to do with the DM, but also it does have a lot to do with the players too. But you seem like you're a very particular person when it comes to D&D.
I don't know. I mean, I've played, like I said, the only thing it makes me think of is remember back in the day, we technically made our own fan fiction of Sonic Adventures. So it's pretty much like that because we did that, but just without like, roles or classes. It was a role playing situation. Like that's literally what it was. So where we had our own setup of characters, their own lives, their abilities, and certain things that they could and could not do. We just didn't have to roll. We didn't have to do any checks or anything of that nature that you normally would do. It was more of the storytelling aspect. So
Okay.
that part I do get. Um
One day what I'm going to do, because I feel that you've had from the way that you make it sound, and the fact that like that little bit that I said, you're like, oh, like that is, I'm like, you've been burned. You got burned too crispy when it comes to your attempts at D&D. Let me take you under my wing. Let me put a group together. Let me put together a story. Like I feel as if I can make you, I feel like I might be able to help you appreciate and actually like playing D&D again,
My
or
only
want to
thing
give it a
is
fair
I
try.
wouldn't be able to do that Friday setup you do because on Friday sometimes I host things, and I know sometimes if you're not able to do certain days, I know I've heard that most groups would do like a 3 count death situation. Like if you don't show up to a session, your team
That's
will continue to move on, but if you don't show up to like 3, your character dies or some shit like that.
Oh, no, I don't do that. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, for instance, like Antonio, when we used to have him play with us,
Mm.
like he was, because he was working. He worked with WWE and was, he'd be able to come in, play a little bit, but then he'd have to leave because he's got to fly out somewhere type thing and all this other stuff. And it's all like it's cool because then he he would get the updates because I like doing little recaps, and he will come in. All right, this is what's going on. Cool, we keep it going. But it's like for you, if I was going to do it, because we actually live together, because the people who I play with, we I live in Florida, my girlfriend lives with me, then there's a husband and wife that live in Michigan, and then there's another couple that lives in Connecticut. And so we're like all over the place. But
Mm.
since we could do something in person, we would just like grab a table and just do it at your house or something.
Okay.
And then like, and honestly, especially since I know that the wife does do play D&D and whatnot, we could keep it real intimate. It would just be like, I'm the DM, you, your wife, and my girlfriend,
So
and
you
maybe
trying to
one
do a
other person
couples
if we could find.
retreat? Because it's couple, couple, couple. That's what you telling me. It's couple, couple,
I
couple, and
mean,
then that's what it sounds
I
like.
mean, I mean, it could. I mean, like I said, literally the table that I currently host is a husband and wife, another couple, and then me and my girlfriend.
Yeah, it's
So
couples,
it
four
is three
couples. So
couples,
yeah,
and I'm the DM. Now,
yeah.
granted, we used to have, the homie, but since he passed away and whatnot, now it's just that kind of thing. But I mean, I mean, if you know somebody else who'd want to come through and whatnot, and we don't have to do it on Friday because number one, I wouldn't do it on Friday because it's when I do my actual other. That's when I do my other system. So we do it like on like a some other day.
Yeah, so it'd be a matter of just seeing the situation, but it is not a bad idea. I know the original idea we kind of veered off and spent a little bit of time on that. So let's kind of get back into the original plot for the day, which was going over those particular wrestling questions. Not saying that we did go off in a tangent of anything because it's technically still wrestling related, but getting back
Don't worry, I,
into
I I was I was spinning it back around. I was spinning it back around. That's why I brought up the homie
nah,
because he
yeah.
works with
Oh,
he works in wrestling.
well, no. You the other homie you brought up first. I for 2 seconds I'm thinking of Iceman.
Oh, no, no. Well, I mean, he didn't work with wrestling, but he was also a big wrestling fan. But
Yeah,
but when I was mentioning our friend, he because he's like he works for WWE,
Yeah.
and so it's like he has a very busy schedule, and so it's like whenever he can drop in, like he'd be like he would see that because he knew when we would play as like in between doing stuff. He like, all right, he comes through, plays a little bit, and when he has to go, he goes. There's certain days we won't be able to show up, but we made it work, and I'm always make it work. But yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that little. Yeah, as you were going to say, as you were saying, getting off the D&D tangent and whatnot. We're nerds here at the end of the day. We love wrestling, but we're just a bunch of nerds.
Well, I should say it's still kind of somewhat wrestling related because you brought up the Taker and Kane story. But yes, for the actual topic of the day, these questions that you had, I guess am I the only one that's answering these questions? This is a two-way kind of thing.
I mean, I answered them for myself already. So.
Okay. So you just give the answer. All right.
Yeah, I have the answers for myself, and I actually did get all the way up to 10 because it was an easy question that I didn't think of, and actually I did not actually answer this particular question, and so I'm gonna ask you first, so it'll give me a moment to actually think about it because it's
okay.
This is a hard question. This is a very difficult question. And so, because especially with the way I'm about to put it. So, at this very moment, when you think of from the time they started doing this to the point that we're at right now, favorite theme song across the board.
Okay, so we're talking about one particular wrestler, or are we talking about one theme song in general?
Period. If you were going to do like a countdown to your favorite wrestling theme song across the board, whether it's from New Japan, whether if it was from WWF time period, TNA,
so then
goddamn, period. Just
so when you say favorite, yeah. So out of all time, right now, what's my favorite theme song of all time?
Yes.
Okay. That's tough. Sheesh. That wow. Damn. I'm literally going through the laundry list. One kind of automatically comes up to the top of my brain, and it's gonna be Pentagon Jr.'s Lucha Underground theme song. It was something about, it's called Thrill Switch, I think, or is it I have the song. I think it's called Thrill Switch. It's like a generic theme. You can get it on Spotify, and I have it. I think it's called Thrill Switch, but his Lucha Underground theme, to me, it's not like it's a great theme. It's just it's connected to the character that was him. And anytime he comes out, it fit the aesthetic. And the thing about Lucha Underground that was so cool is since it was pre-recorded or pre-taped, the theme always matched with the situation. So it sometimes would play the complete intro, sometimes it would not play the intro, and then sometimes it would cut at certain points. So it's like it just always fit to what he was doing. And then it's that one. Oh, actually, no. Oh, it's okay. There's three, and the crazy part is, it's a Lucha Underground, and two of them are New Japan themes. So, I'm still saying Penta, but then I'm also gonna say Kenny Omega's Demon Sky. That song is just like, perfection. And that is when you saw Kenny Omega and his the true form of Kenny Omega. The bout machine. Oh my God. Yes. And then Jay White's Switchblade. Jay White's Switchblade theme song is another one that's like a true favorite of mine. You really should make this a top 10 list, bro, because that's tough, dog. You gotta make that like a
I know what
tough
I
one,
did.
dude. Oh, damn. I'm okay.
See the
Okay. Okay.
problem,
Go
because
ahead. Go ahead.
see, if I did it as a top 10 list, then you would have that situation. Because I'm looking for number one. I don't care about the others. We're looking for number one. You can say as many theme songs as you like, but I
Penta.
want to know
I'm
what
still
is
going with
the
Penta.
one.
I'm still going Penta. Still going Penta because that's the only one I ever made my phone ringtone, and there's so many of them. And anytime it hits, it just that song gets me going. So it's gonna be Pentagon's Thrill Switch.
Real switch. I'll have to go
Yeah,
and listen to this.
I'll pop it. I'll pop it in a minute. Like I said, it's not that crazy of a theme. It really connects me back to Lucha and how much I loved that series. So it's more of a nostalgic feeling than it's a great theme feeling. Um, because if we're going off the great themes and stuff like that's different. But this is my all time favorite theme because it is a nostalgic pop for me. It makes me think of the character, and it also just gets me hype. So that I'm gonna say that's my all time. That's my all time, and that was a tough one because all time, fuck. So what is yours?
Strangely enough, like where you struggled, it's really not difficult for me, and it's because I'm just very simple like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
granted, funny enough, this particular song, only because you brought it up, I've never had this as like my ringtone. I think when it comes to like songs I've had as my ringtone, I've had Randy Orton's voices. I've had Asuka's original theme song when she was in NXT
I am
and
gonna
whatnot.
sing away. Yes, yeah, that was a good one.
Uh, and I think I also had because there is a difference now. I used to have Amber Moon's theme song because I
Really?
love that song. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
Amber Moon's theme was it
Hmm.
was nice. I love that shit. But but we currently love Athena. But all time number one, Slow Chime Chemical, Kane's original theme song.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
The wait, original or because the original
a
is
ridge.
because
Yes,
Slow Chemical
original.
is Slow Chemical is the when he
That's
turns and
so
removes
that
the mask.
so yeah is
You're thinking of
Unmasked Kane. Slow
you're thinking
Chemical.
of burned.
I actually don't remember what it's called specifically.
It's
Now, I do believe because it's like there's two different iterations of it. There's the absolute original one, because actually I think there's like three. There's the very first one that he had, and then there's like a second one where it sounds like the first one, but then they like really amped up like the drums in that particular
yeah,
song.
like they use
And
more
then
like
there is
classical drums.
the which actually it's hard for me to pick which one of those, but I think my particular favorite one is when it just goes straight into the explosion,
That's burned. It's burned
and
because
so
I had to pull
which
it up. It's
is
burned.
which is when freaking tank top Kane
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
started showing a bit more skin, which was for all intents and purpose peak Kane as far as physicality goes. Freaking Kane
I
back
don't know.
then.
I'm still like with the sleeve. That came to me is like that
Oh, trust
came
me,
to destruction.
that is my that's my favorite Kane, and even
Mm-hmm.
more specifically, my favorite Kane attire is Kane when he first got a girlfriend. And what was that girl's name? Ooh,
Tori.
was her Tori? There you go.
Yeah, because he had
Yeah, when he
where he had the see through the with the flames.
and it was the reverse color. So
Yeah, the black and red.
instead of it being the red with the black on top, it was the black with the red on top. Fam,
Mm-hmm.
that oh my god, listen, freaking and it's a look that he did not wear a lot,
No, he
but I
didn't.
love the hell out of it. The color of the mask and just favorite skin, absolute favorite skin on Kane. But
I don't
but
blame you. I do remember. I think did you have that toy too?
no, I wanted it so bad. You had the toy.
Oh, that's what it was. It was either me
I
or you.
had
I
the
couldn't remember.
Yeah, no, it was you because
Mm-hmm,
I wanted it, but I could
mm-hmm,
never find it, and you had it, and
mm.
because the cane that I had the small. It was like the small cane with but he had
The
like the
old school
perfect choke
ones.
slam hands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had like the perfect choke slam
I
hands.
remember now. Yes. Okay. So you had the Federation model Kane because you know how the Federation toys usually made, and then I had
Yeah,
the actual action figure ones that came with the backstage mayhem, which
the
like
freaking yeah
the
with the
bathroom.
toilet bathroom toilet thing bust through the wall,
Yeah.
and also the cane that you had, which was great because the cane that you had worked with my Titantron because they used to have the little
Yes.
metal bars on the feet
Oh my
type thing.
god, it was so good back in the day. Oh,
Damn,
that was
there are
so
things that they
good.
did back then that they don't do anymore that I'm like, why don't y'all bring that back?
It was
Because it's
so
like
good.
I walk through the toy section from time to time because I'm looking for toys for myself and not for my kid because I'm still a kid myself. And and I look at the wrestling toys and like, they still have the wrestling rings, but it's like you don't see backstage mayhems like that no more. Like
No, bro.
they should that is that is a fantastical extra toy to have to go with your wrestling ring. And then they don't have the Titantrons anymore. I mean,
I
granted,
could have sworn they had one,
wrestling
but
in
it just
general,
doesn't.
they don't I don't know. They might have one now, but to that feat though, they don't have it like how they used to, like how mine used to do the put their feet on it
Play
and
the
it would
music,
play their
yeah,
theme song
because
kind of
people could
thing,
just
which
play the
I
music on
think,
their phone.
oh yeah, that's right. Children have phones these days. I'd be forgetting. But it's like, I mean, I guess, but like
It
whatever.
takes it away. It
Whatever.
just it's not as because I mean there were times we did use the speaker on the computer, like we'll just use that if we couldn't get certain things on or whatever. But it takes away the creativity of how to get the things that you can't. And there's no creativity with it now. It's just toy, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there. And I think most of it now is because it's collectors rather than kids actually playing with them. Half the time, I do believe they're making just toys for collectors.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's purely
Like
what it is now.
I got a homie. Fam, his toy collection is insane.
You talking
Top
about
tier. It's
LX?
peak. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Lord Zay himself. Freaking good music. Go check him out. Lord Zay on Spotify. But man, his and he actually was doing a little, he actually had he started, but he didn't keep it going. But he had like a little toy podcast that he was trying to put together, and like where they would like talk toys and figures and stuff like that.
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
I have gone with this man to toy stores, and I don't know how he can have the self control that he slightly has. I mean, right now he does have actually really good self control, but at the same time there. But I've also seen him be like, I'm gonna just go in here, and I'm gonna take a look at a couple of things, and all of a sudden I gotta buy that one. Like, almost every time.
Well, if he got the
But
money
I
to
know.
do it, shit, you probably do it too.
Listen, I I I've gone to a store recently with him, and I saw toys that I had not seen since I was 7 or 8 years old. These like, because I used to have a bunch of Batman toys, and I
That you did.
saw Fam, I saw at least 15 of the Batman toys I used to have, like fully put together with their items and everything, and I was like, I had this one as a toy, I had this one as a toy, I had this one, and I had this one, and oh, I lost that one. And it's right here.
There's nothing worse than a
I have to walk
lost
away.
toy. There's nothing worse than a lost toy. There's nothing worse than that.
I listened to, and now, interestingly enough, when it comes to the wrestling toys, I never see a lot of wrestling toys that I used to have at these spots. Like, as a matter of fact, a lot of them often look like the more newer wrestling toys whenever I go to these places. I don't see a lot of old, like, if I see old ones, they're like, it's like a weird time frame. If they're old ones, they're like from like 93 and back, and the new ones are usually from like Ruthless Aggression era forward kind of thing. And so like the toys that we had during like the Attitude era, like there will be some, but it's like it's always of like the super popular people. Like of course there's going to be a bunch of Rocks and Stone Colds and stuff like that, but it's like very rarely will you find, and especially like if it was an Undertaker, it's normally like not even in good condition or whatever. Like they're like hella scratched up from being beaten and abused, as they should be if you were playing with them right. But
I'm sending you the link now to that song. By the way, the one that I picked, it's on Spotify. It was Thrill Switch. I remembered it properly.
Ah, good job. Good on you for remembering the absolute name.
I remember I was searching for that bad boy. I was like, man, I'm tired of looking it up on YouTube, and I need the actual song, so I finally found it. But
listen, that be killing me sometimes because there's been a couple of times where I'll like the version of the song that I'm looking for only exists on YouTube because someone archived it extremely well. But I mean, not everything. Spotify can't have everything, which it
can't. It can't. Especially video game music. But so songs, that was a tough one. I feel like for anybody in the chat, please comment your favorite wrestling song, like your absolute favorite, and see how tough that is.
The number one. Oh, because it really is. Because there's a bunch of honorable mentions. I'm not even going to go into all of those.
Yeah, I feel like it's his own pod itself of like favorite theme songs, and I feel like that could be a good episode, just giving our top 10s and why. Because I could definitely talk about that for hours.
Oh yeah, because there's so many good ones. And it's one of those things where it's like, because I'm so WWE centric and whatnot, but the next place that I would look for me is TNA. TNA, unlike a lot of these other TNA has bangers.
Yes, Christian Cage and stuff. Oh my god, yes, back in the day. I'm gonna also send you the other two, and I do believe it's Devil Sky. For Kenny, yeah. Oh, that's Death Rider. Death Rider, John Moxley's theme. I do love that one. That is another one that is on my top list. But to get back into, go ahead.
Speaking of John Moxley, because I touched on this a little bit before, and I also saw you you talked about it when you was doing the review type thing, and so like tell me why I should remotely care about John Moxley right now. If you were going to try and convert me to be a John Moxley person, how would you do it?
The issue is I can't because you don't really like deathmatch wrestling.
What is it? Because deathmatch wrestling does not bother me. I can watch it.
Okay.
Like are you talking like CZW type stuff?
Yeah, like a lot of his work when especially when he first got into AEW was that, and I love the storytelling of deathmatch wrestling, minus the explosion match that he did with Kenny during the pandemic. Most of his matches like that are really great with storytelling. Like I like brawler wrestlers. I like wrestlers who like brawling and not super. I like technical wrestlers, but I do love a good old brawler who's like, okay, the match starts, we're brawling, we're going in, we end up going out in the ring, we're going out into the audience, we're just swinging, we're just brawling, and that's how I would be if I was a wrestler. Remember how we had the conversation? If you were a wrestler, you will want to be a monster. I want to be a brawler. Like how Austin never did a damn hole in his life almost. Like he'll do every once in a while, but he was a brawler. And that's why I love characters like Jon Moxley, because that's simply what they are. Does that make sense why I kind of like Jon Moxley a lot?
Now, is that the only thing? Is it just because of that?
No, I mean he does do decent promos. Like he does have some compelling promos where he kind of just builds up his reasonings for what he does and just his person itself. I kind of again see a lot of when he does promos. I see a lot of what I would do if I was a character, like a wrestler. Is I'm a little crazy, but I'm gonna also take you on a journey of what I've been going through, right? And so I like that stuff too. But then also when it comes to the deathmatch wrestling aspect, I enjoy it as well. Now, is he one of my top like faves? Currently, no. But like I do enjoy what he has done in AEW compared to WWE. Because in WWE, just like how you said Travis Scott shirt, ass. Ass. That is no. WWE him? No. Absolutely not. And I wonder if maybe from when he was Dean Ambrose, did he kind of leave like how you said before, I was burnt from my experience? Were you scorched from your experience from when he was Dean Ambrose?
No, as a matter of fact, I liked Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
Now, I so so me and Dean Moxley Ambrose we've had a very rocky relationship throughout the
Okay.
years. When he was in Shield, he was my absolute least favorite person in Shield. Okay, I hated him in Shield. I
So
thought he was annoying.
perfect example. Because even how our friend group was, I was the Dean Ambrose of the group. Well, I would be the one that's just crazy swinging brawler type, and you would definitely be more of a Seth Rollins. And Antonio is completely a Roman Reigns.
So at the time, I hated Seth Rollins, and I mean you are actually right though, because it's like I hated Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns was
Yeah.
cute face, good looking guy, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I did prefer Seth Rollins in that bit. But after a while, Dean Ambrose did kind of grow on me a little bit. But then when he
Mm-hmm.
broke off and he became the Lunatic Fringe and all that, and when they had the Ambrose Asylum and stuff like that, I liked it. Now,
Oh.
I feel as if I would have liked him even more if he would like. I wish he would have doubled down on the lunatic part of his character, but
Mm-hmm.
probably for reasons he couldn't, kind of thing. But it's like I like Dean Ambrose when he went over to AEW and became Jon Moxley, and he had that horrible theme song when he first showed up.
Oh yeah, no,
Just
that theme song was kind of tough, but it was one that really had to grow on you. At first, no.
But I liked him when he first came to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked him when he first came and when he first was the champion and stuff like that. And and even when he because he was kind of babyface at that time, and then I even liked him when he started going to the heel. But nearing that last bit of him being a heel, and I would say honestly, it's probably been up until whenever him and Daniel Bryan and uh, was it Cassioli or whatever? because I still call him Cesaro, but
Mm-hmm.
Antonio. But whenever they all came together and they
Yeah.
became that team, like leading up to that point was when I started not really liking Mox, like, cause
Okay.
he went through this period. Now I think he might, if I can start really solidly watching AEW again, which I'm going to. I think he might be bringing it back a bit more because sure, I like brawling and whatnot, but I also like brawling with a purpose a little bit. And it's like I don't mind deathmatch wrestling, but I like necessary blood, not bleeding just for the sake of the red type thing.
Yeah, he do be
I
bleeding for no fucking reason. Yeah, you are right. That do be getting a bit much.
and then is the other bit about him when during this time is like cuz like he went through a time where it was all like his promos to me were just booty. Like I didn't like any of his promos. Like he was just it was like as if he was it's like he was trying to talk off the cuff and it was just kind of falling dead just as like uh, I want to fight. If you're going to fight me then meet me in the ring. Let's do this.
There was a real
Fight.
big
All
reason for
this other
that at
stuff.
that time because he was battling with alcoholism. So a lot of the times he would come to the show just toe up. So
And then
I'm
it's
not too
like
sure if that was the period you started noticing that because that was a very big period and he had to get that checked out.
and maybe that was cuz then after that like when it comes to the way he does things in the ring, which it's 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 a lot him, but also it's a big issue I have with AEW, and that is the fact that they don't sell anything.
Yeah, they
Not
don't.
selling doesn't exist. Like I'm watching like Mox. You literally took the meanest move that would cause somebody brain damage, and you kicked out at one, and you stood straight up and then just continued fighting like nothing happened. And Moxley does it all the time. And I'm like, if that's something that is a result of deathmatch wrestling, where it's like because you can take being exploded on normal wrestling moves mean nothing to you, then it's just like this is stupid. Like I hate watching his matches sometimes because it's like
Mm-hmm.
he'll what like there was one time like he got hit with someone's finish and it's like he
Mm-hmm.
kicked down, he stood up and he starts talking all of this madness and I'm like, what am I watching?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
a lot of times with wrestlers like that, when they do have a background in that, you because the audience knows that they have dealt with worse situations, it kind of leads them to be a little bit like, oh, you just did this. But I think a part of that is because they don't really protect their finishers in AEW in general. There's too many false
oh,
finishes.
and then and well and it's not even so much about it's the lack of selling, and
Yeah.
it's like, and maybe this is my hot take or something, or
Oh,
just a
Disket Larry
weird way of
Lounge.
feeling.
You
But
got to
it's
sling some
like
shit.
the for me, like the way that selling happens is it's like it's getting less and less, and they're selling less and less, because they're trying to do more in a match type situation. A good example, that cage match that was on AEW's pay per view.
Oh, you talking about Revolution? Yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot.
The amount of times that they would do the most devastating attack to you, to someone, and then they pin and they kick out. And it's not like, huh, a long time ago, because that's honestly where when selling was real, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like when you think about like the Mankind Hell in a Cell match, it's like even like with the Mankind Hell in a Cell match, right? And this might be a crazy one to compare to, but it's like he gets thrown off a cage, he gets put through a cage. He does get back up, but now granted, we know the hindsight 2020 of it all. But or maybe I should
He
maybe
well,
I'll
because yeah,
use
you also
the
because yeah, you got to take into account when he first landed, he probably was okay, but he took a chair to the mouth.
but well, let me switch it to like the HBK one
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
If we use the HBK one where like everything from what I know went the way it was supposed to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's bloody, he can barely stand. But he's still trying to fight, but like he's knocking on death's door. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those two boys in that match looked like HBK and went through, if not worser things than what Shawn Michaels did in his move. But it's like they made those things seem like it was just a little, like you get tossed on thumbtacks, like you feel that. But they kicked out like it was nothing and got back up and are running around like crazy people and doing all this high energy stuff when you're in a grueling match. You're bleeding. You should be tired because of the loss of blood. Like you're not. It's taking me out. You're not making me
Mm-hmm.
believe anymore. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
not. You're just
It's a
just
spot fest.
you know.
It's literally a spot fest at that point.
And so it's
Yeah.
like with Moxley, it's like he would do it. He does it it feels like he does it the most because he's on the TV a lot, and especially during that time. I haven't been watching a lot of AEW now, so I can't particularly say. But
When
from
was the
time to
last
time
time?
when I do, from the time to time that I do, it still seems like Mox has not changed the way that he does things, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like Moxley will get hit with like a big move, but it's like he don't sell it in his face like he's still hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like if he was like you know, let's say he's like getting, in which I hate it when they do this. Like let's say he's getting like someone's working his leg and all this other stuff, and then like we're at the very ending of the match, and all of a sudden he just sits there and he just like beats the shit out of his leg a couple of times, and all of a sudden his
Mm-hmm.
leg is fine and he can run like nothing happened, and he can springboard and jump out the ring. And I was like, that's not how that works. I can't just beat the hell out of my leg and then all of a sudden I can walk on it again. No, that's if anything, that's making my leg worse. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's because of that I don't like Moxley right now because it's like
Okay.
I would be hella mad if I hit him with my finish and he just popped up and he just it's like pin me, bro. Just I'm a
No, I do agree. The selling it's not really that great in AEW. It is literally a spot fest. Most of the time, it's a spot fest, and I feel like they're doing it because they want to top the next person as much as possible. There's no and it because at one point, um, Tony Khan allowed the locker room to do a lot of things, have a lot of free range to do whatever they want to in their matches. And now because
still
people
do.
have done that, yeah, somewhat. He apparently somewhat speculation, or not speculation, but you know what we've been told.
Hearsay.
Hearsay, yes, hearsay,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But he is apparently dialing it back and going to more of his style. So a lot of fans are not liking the fact that he wants to make a New Japan. Like he's trying to make AEW into a New Japan promotion. And I could see that as well, and I could see that separation because while we're very used to sports entertainment, when you go to AEW, to them, especially if you watch Japan, like Japanese wrestling, they do that shit a lot. Like I could just hit you with a Tiger Driver 93 or whatever, and you kick out at 2. But that's supposed to be the super finisher. So that's a lot of Japan, is them going over the top, doing crazy spots, and then somehow kicking back up and you're like, whoa, you just got hit with a knee like crazy. Like that was a crazy knee. You should probably be out. So because Tony Khan likes that kind of wrestling, he promotes his wrestlers to make that kind of wrestling. So New Japan doesn't do it now. You see it a lot back in the day with like Wrestling Noah. Like they used like I remember I recently saw a match. It was Kenta, and I can't remember his tag team partner name, but like Homie did like I think a reverse Poison Rana, and it was like outside the ring or something like that. Oh no, they tried to do a Spanish fly spot and end up power bombing each other out in the concrete or some shit like that. And I was like, oh, that was a botch, but this match is over. No, they continued the spot and continued as if nothing happened. So it's just like a lot of that is just power through and make sure you do your spots. And in WWE, that is not the case. Like it is totally not the case. It is a story-driven spectacle, and that's why wrestlers like Shawn Michaels was a great storyteller in the ring, and especially when you had that bad blood match. He sold. He, as we like to say, he put Taker over. He made Taker look like $1 million, and AEW does not do stuff like that. So,
which
to answer, go ahead. Sorry,
garbage. No, I was just saying, which is sad because it's not like there's not a way where it could be done, and the reason and a good my example of it being done right is TNA, like 2010 TNA era, right? Like TNA, I would say TNA back for me, TNA was the first time I saw false finishes of this particular caliber.
Yeah.
Where Kurt Angle will you'll see Samoa Joe hit the Muscle Buster, and then it's all like, well, that's got to be it. And then he gets the pin, and then there's a kick out, and it's like, there's no way. There's no absolute way. It can't be. But it's like the way that there's a way to do it and make me believe it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because, when that happens, it's like you see the pain in Kurt Angle's face when he kicked out. Like once he's kicked out, he's still out of it, and type thing. And Joe is like, I'm tired. I don't know what else to do to put this guy down and all this other stuff. Like there's they're because it's late in the match, they're moving differently. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the wear and tear, like type situation. And they're not bleeding. But it's like I'm watching the match between that cage match that they had, and it's like they're just crimson mask. And any other time when we see someone like crimson mask, they're fighting and they're reacting like they're concussed, like that. There's blood loss. They're dazed, kind of thing. They're kind of drooping like this and whatnot. Nah, these guys are standing straight up with their chest out. Like there's nothing. I'm not bleeding. You're bleeding. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna do this crazy ass move and drop you literally on your neck, and you're gonna kick out, and you're gonna stand right back up and look me in the eye and be like, "Nah, do it again. I bet you won't." And I'm like, "Oh, come on." Then why do it? Like I'm just like now I'm not in.
It's not invested anymore. You're not invested into the match at that point.
I'm not invested anymore. Like you're taking me all the way out now.
So curious question then, because we had that cage match, and then you watched the Hollywood end. How did that make you feel? Like, did you feel that same way with some of the things the girls were doing?
So with that match, the selling was, in comparison, the selling a whole lot more, lot better. And it's not, and the other thing is they didn't do a whole lot of pinning. They were just trying to destroy each other a lot. And so it's like the fact that they were destroying each other so much. Now there were a couple of times, but when they would pin and then there was a kick out, they gave me that, like, she kicked out, but she used everything that she had to kick out. She didn't kick out and get right back up and do a super duper flippity dippity do high spot. No, she kicked out and they lied there for a minute. Like, damn, what am I gonna do now? And
Yeah,
then
then
what?
it's the spotty wrestling. That's Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay for you in a nutshell.
Yeah. And now, don't get me wrong. Will
No.
Ospreay has had some matches that I really, really liked,
Yeah.
kind of thing, where it was like, I mean, granted, it's spot fiesta, but there was a believing when it came to who he was fighting that okay, these guys are actually really damaging each other and whatnot. Like I feel it's funny enough to actually when I put it that way, it's almost like AEW is a video game. As like you know how when you would play like
Yo,
a
that's
wrestling video
crazy.
game
Actually, yeah,
and
I
it's,
see.
it's like uh, you know both of your bodies are completely red on the indicator showing that all parts of the body are hurt on both sides. And it's like, but if you wait long enough, that wrestling character will eventually stand back up and he might walk like this. But then, though he's walking like this, though you did spend the whole match like trying to literally break his legs off, you know, he can still run. He will jump onto the ropes and he will do a drop kick to you in the wrestling game, like as if you've never been like you wasn't working on his legs the whole time. He will still, even though you've been trying to snap his arm clean out of the socket, he will still grab you and hold you up in the air like this, like he still has all of the energy in the world because it's a video game.
Yeah, yeah. That is actually the best way to put it. That is, it's literally a video game. It's
And
the best way to
so
put
it's
it.
like, and so it's like that's AEW. Now, WWE's not off the hook because they'll do it a little bit, but they only just like slightly touch the surface when it comes to these like doing false finishes, like and then continuing on like nothing happened. They've been better in the past, but it's like they're doing a thing where they're not selling as much because it's the whole try to get your shit in within the time frame that you have, as opposed to. But it's like WWE is still better at telling a story, but it's
Very
like
much so.
they still do the whole trying to get your shit in type thing. But like yeah, no, like that. It's all of that. The reason why I hate it because John Moxley does it so much.
Okay, that is very valid. Um, I don't know what like it's when it comes to the direction of AEW and what they are doing with people like him. While he is currently one of those people, the reason why I know I kind of back him up is because you know how you have faith in that one wrestler. Like I know what he's capable of. I'm just gonna let him cook for a minute, and whereas you still kind of have faith that they either go back to what they used to do or are getting better at some point. That is me. And I don't know if you even have a wrestler like that where at one point it was just like, man, they are just pooping right now. I'm a big fan of them, but they're just pooping. Can't stand it.
I almost don't even want to like. I have a really bad habit of picking like a wrestler that I really like, but like absolutely no one likes them, and it usually ends up being a situation where the wrestler does something outside of wrestling
Mm-hmm.
to completely like dookie on his own personal name, and then it makes it hard for me to be like, man, I was really going to bat for you
Like
because
Velveteen Dream.
I have I have a horrible list, a
Yeah,
horrible list.
Velveteen Dream's
Velvet,
still one of those for
listen,
me.
Velveteen Dream was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ryback is another. Al, Alberto Del Rio is another. Um, yeah, yeah. Listen, yeah, those are tough names to talk about. Like, and honestly, the one that started it all was Chris Benoit. I was a big Chris Benoit guy. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like,
I
so
there's
there's
so many
another guy.
controversial takes with that. Yeah. There's so
There's
many
another
controversial.
wrestler who Kevin Sullivan. Boy,
You was a
I
fan of
would
Kevin Sullivan?
damn when he was on NXT, freaking that big.
Okay.
Yes, I was so for his character, and then
Because
turns
you was a
out he's in.
monster. Yeah, he was a monster. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the perfect monster inside and apparently outside the ring too. And so now it's just like, you know, I got the Ryback beanie that I just put at the bottom of my, you know. I used to have the Ryback armband. We just put that in the back of the closet. I found my Velveteen Dream shirt. I'm not gonna throw away because I spent money on it, but we just put that underneath all the clothes because you know.
Interesting
I
enough,
don't
he's
I don't
wrestling
have
again too.
anything. I don't have anything that was Alberto Del Rio, but like we just don't talk about him no more.
Nah, Alberto Patron is what he is. I think he's in AAA now, but he still
Uh,
wrestles in AAA.
I mean, he still wrestles, but it's like I can't fuck with him no more
Mm-mm,
because you know
mm-mm.
he's a woman beater and stuff. Like you
Yeah,
know,
I
so he
can't fuck.
abused Paige.
Yeah, yeah. You can't do that.
Can't
Can't do that.
I can't lie. I can't I can't claim you no more, bro. Like as like, and for a
Well,
while, uh, Nia Jax was another one in the beginning. Everyone's kind of because
oh,
she
because
was
of the
because
hurting wrestlers. Okay, I was like, did she do something controversial outside of the hurting the wrestlers thing? Okay.
listen, like when Nia Jax first came out, I was like, I'm down for that. And then she was hurting people and like she wasn't too good for a while, but I was all like, no, no, no. I believe that she's going to turn around. She's going to make this work. She's going to correct it. She's going to fix it. And boy, it took her a very long time to do that. I was the laughing stock of the group chat for a while because, like, oh, yo, swag. There's Nia Jax. I wonder who she's gonna injure today. And I'm just like, oh boy, shut your mouth. Ah, like, but you know,
Okay.
sometimes
So now I'm curious.
gotta eat.
Braun Strowman, do you like his monster character currently? Because to me, it seems very bland.
Braun Strowman needs to go back to being a real not a big SOB, a mean SOB. When Braun Strowman first showed up, when he was in the Wyatt family, loved it. When he broke off from the Wild family and he was like just doing when he was a real monster among men, loved that. When him and Roman were doing their thing, I wanted them to fight forever.
I'm
Like
not
I
finished with you. That was the
fam, like
best. That was the best.
the stuff that him and Roman were just doing to each other, going back and forth with it was perfect because like Roman is this strong is a strong character, and then Braun Strowman is this brick wall monster among men when he was a real monster among men. Now he's just a man among monsters, as far as I'm concerned. I still like him, but it's like he's like Braun Strowman's kind of suffering from the whole fact of like, bro, I've seen photos of you like hanging out with your boys in like pink undies, like that's not very monster of you anymore. And so
He has photos of that. That's crazy.
well, not I don't think necessarily pink undies,
Oh,
but
oh, so it's just
him,
like him doing normal
but
people stuff or weird stuff.
yeah.
Okay,
He's
okay, okay,
you
okay,
know
okay. Okay.
he's your good
Broke
fun loving
kayfabe.
dude, you know, like
Broke kayfabe.
well, and it's one of those things like it's not even so much the him breaking the kayfabe bothers me so much, but I feel as if it kind of bled into regular it bled into wrestling. kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
so
yeah,
it was like
because
that,
yeah,
like they kind of like brought that into his character type thing.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
they humanized the monster, to
Mm-hmm.
so to say. And so that's why now, you know, I'm preferring your big Brunson Reeds and your crazy Samoan Fatus. You know
Jacob
what I'm
Fatu
saying?
is
Like,
so damn good. So damn good.
uh, yes,
And you
yeah.
gotta watch SmackDown. You gotta watch SmackDown. Then you gotta watch SmackDown because there is a segment between the two, and Jacob gets his, and it's good.
Uh, Listen, and it's crazy that they're bringing that back because they literally last Saturday Night Main Event, Jacob and Braun Strowman had a match, and Jacob won. And then proceeded to beat the brakes off of Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman disappeared for a minute. So it's interesting that they brought Braun Strowman has come back and they're going back at it again.
I think it's
So
gonna be
yeah,
a WrestleMania
I
feud,
am
probably.
going, which is cool with me because I still like Braun, but Braun was definitely better before he left before I
He
forgot
left
whether if he
WWE and came
left
back.
WWE or
He got released.
yeah, like before. Yeah, before he ended up disappearing from WWE the first time, like I like that Braun Strowman more than I like Braun Strowman right now. And actually thinking on it, I do believe he also was injured for a bit there too. But yeah, no,
You
that's
are
where I'm
a
at when it comes to that thing.
you are a huge fan of monster characters, and it does prove it. So that means like Luchasaurus or Killswitch. Now you're more likely a fan of him because he gives Kane vibes. He gives so many Kane vibes.
In the
Um,
very beginning, absolutely. Like, I mean, I still think he's cool and whatnot, but it's
yeah,
like they're just not doing nothing for him. Like
yeah,
he's
I
just
know,
kind of there. So
yeah.
it's like, you know,
Um,
well,
so then now in the future, I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to ask you a question of your favorite monster characters, and I'll give you my favorite brawlers.
mm, that is a good question. That's actually something I'm gonna have to think about.
Yep.
But that does, excuse me, that does actually segue. Well, first off, what we looking like on time?
I feel like we got
Because
good for one more question.
okay,
Good one
because
more question.
cool, because that segues directly into uh my next question, and so, and I'm although now that I'm looking at, oh, okay, no, I just wrote it down incorrectly. So for WWE across the board, across the board, all-time favorite guy and girl wrestler.
From anywhere WWE anywhere, right?
Correct.
Sheesh. I got to think of the female one first because the male one's not as hard. Um. Hmm.
Now, if you
Um.
want, now I was like, if you need more time to think of it, because I have mine already.
Give me yours real quick. I kind of think I have it, but give me yours real quick.
So because that you were trying to figure out for the females, and as I looked at the answers that I put, I think because it came down to two, it was Melina and AJ Lee, and I think when it boils down, ooh, to force myself to pick one, and it's extremely close. Like it's first place and first place part two. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I believe it's Melina. I believe, and actually, now that I said it out loud, it absolutely is Melina because number one, she is drop dead gorgeous, beautiful person. She is indeed an actual beautiful person. Like Melina, the person outside of wrestling, a wonderful individual kind of thing. But she is also a beautiful person to look at. Gorgeous. When she first came out, well, I was infatuated. And from it, but then her evolution from being with Eminem all the way up until her last bit before she ended up leaving WWE, she developed as a wrestler. She developed as a wrestler in the same way that Trish Stratus did, where
Yes.
she just got better and better and better and better, while also just being fine as hell type thing. Bro, well, no, you do understand. I
Oh no,
was
I
in love with
understand.
that
Yeah, I know. I know. I
one.
know. I know.
like, let me put it this way. I've when I saw her in person the first time, I was too shy to even approach. I just admired it from afar. Like it was one of those like, that's Melina. Are you gonna go over there? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. And I legitimately didn't go over there. I just like that kid is like looking at their crush. Like, what do I even say to her? I don't have any money to like buy merch or buy a picture, and so I'm like, I don't like if I go over there, I'm gonna be like super awkward and like stuttering and stuff, and maybe now's not the time. And I legitimately didn't go. But for the
So
same
Melina.
reasons is this the same, yeah, and the reason why AJ Lee was that because when Melina left, AJ Lee showed up, and AJ Lee was literally my Melina replacement. So
That's
Melina,
crazy.
all the feelings that I had for Melina, I dumped them on AJ Lee and went full tilt.
That's crazy. He said, "Man, forget that, shorty. I'm on to the next."
It's not even so much forget. It was just the fact that like she wasn't there anymore. And not only was she not there anymore, but like she didn't go anywhere that I could watch her on TV, because back then and even a little bit till now, like I'm lazy. I love the indies are cool, but I'm not gonna like surf YouTube to watch you on the indies kind of thing. If it does not come readily available to me, I'm probably not gonna watch it unless I absolutely have to, or if I can have a surefire way to see it. And plus, I don't think Melina really did any indies when she like originally left WWE. So I was brokenhearted, and then AJ Lee came through, and she's all like, "Don't worry, I'm here now. It's okay." And I was like, "It is okay. You are here." And so and so and so AJ Lee filled that spot. And then when AJ Lee left, I was brokenhearted for a very long time, because when AJ Lee disappeared, there was no female to fill that void. And then I met Charlotte Flair. And
Yeah,
it's been okay ever since.
yeah, Charlotte Flair. The Charlotte Flair nowadays, no, I do not like the Charlotte Flair. Don't do not like the Charlotte Flair. She's not the way she was before then.
So you know how like dudes get when they have like that girl, and it's like the girl switches up on them, but they just kind of like just they just like go with it and deal with it, and then they homeboys will be like, bro, like why do you just stick with her? It's all like, I mean, she ain't that bad. Like she's good. That's me with Charlotte Flair, because I mean I understand why everybody hates it and don't like her and stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, she
She's the queen.
is my queen.
Yeah, I mean, no, like I said,
She's my queen.
it's just I don't know what her shift has been, but like before she took that time away, she she was definitely the queen. But I've noticed that when she has came back, the shift is like she's not physically, she does not look the way she was looked before. And I'm very big on like how she presented herself then to how she presents herself now. It is not the same. The it goes from more from wrestler to glamour every time when she comes back. Cuz early 2000s straight pure wrestler. You know, obviously she had the Ric Flair theme behind it, but when she got in that ring, she looked like a wrestler. Now it's super glamour to me, and I don't like that.
Well, see, the thing with Charlotte Flair right now is the fact that, yeah, when she was originally here, she was indeed she was queen. She had a reason to call herself queen. But since she was gone, so many she's in that situation where it's like so many things have changed. Everyone has moved on from the queen, and they're looking to crown somebody else, and she's all like, "No, the crown still belongs here." Now, the other thing is, from what I've seen, because the other thing is the fact, like, she really hasn't has she really hasn't had any matches since she's come back, so
She
it's
had her
really
first
hard to
match on
really.
SmackDown.
Okay, so if
Mm.
she just had her first match
Mm-hmm.
just now, when was the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble was like what? That was back in
February,
January.
January, yeah,
That
January,
was January.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why you're only seeing the glitz and the glamour is because my queen knows how to dress, and that's all she's been doing.
But
She's
even when
just
she
been coming
came
out.
back, her outfit was too glamour to me. That's what I'm saying. Like even then,
My brother in Christ, her outfit, she's always been. She is a flair. She's a flair, bruv. Not just a
you
flare, but a flare with the female parts. So there's
this
going to be glam.
this
Okay?
I would have to show you like a boom boom and like the differences for me. But
Of course, she got some surgery done. You know, she's done plasticed up a little bit, but I mean, that is and also, like, age is starting to creep a little there. But it's like that's really that's all that is. Like,
yeah.
it- you can't. It's one of those things, like, you can't really compare the wrestling, especially since she literally has not wrestled since the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble it barely counts as wrestling.
I wasn't talking about her. I'm talking about the presentation of her currently. The
Oh,
presentation. Yeah, yeah.
well, see,
Because her
well, because
match,
the other thing.
she had a match with B-Fab and it was a pretty damn good match. But you definitely got to see the after segment. That shit, like, you know how Tiffany Stratton in Charlotte Flair's match, that's kind of like, okay, it's a match, but like the segment from SmackDown, I'm all in now. I'm in. I'm in, B.
But see, yeah, that's the thing though, because it's like, because the other deal is the fact that, like, when when she was on her queen-ish prior kind of thing, she was, well, number one, she was wrestling all the time, so it wasn't often that you saw her like all dressed up and, type thing. She would be in her robe because she's going to go out there and wrestle type deal, or she's going to actually do
Mm,
something. But even then, like, if you saw the outfits that she was wearing before, she was flaring it up. Pun intended. Like, she was glamour then. But the thing is now is, like, she was queen, and she was at the time proving it, and now she's in her bag of, I am queen and I have nothing to prove to you peons. But
mm-hmm.
no one's trying to hear all that because everyone has moved away from Queen Charlotte, and they're all like, nah, you've been gone for a minute. There's new queens around here, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
so you gotta step in line. And she's on her, that's not happening ish right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's in her, she's kind of sort of in her Cersei era, for those who watch Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when she, like, Like, because Cersei went through that point where she saw herself as the queen, but she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't actually the queen. And
Mm-hmm.
now, but now, after Charlotte has been shamed with the injury that she had, and she's been gone for a minute, with Cersei in Game of Thrones, after she had to walk through that walk of shame through the streets butt naked and whatnot, shortly after that, she became the queen. She freaking used that green fire and burned down the monastery, and she took the crown. She took the crown, took the throne, and no one could tell her nothing. And that's currently the path that Charlotte Flair is on. So that's why she's walking around like she is Big Pimp and Spin the G's, because that's what she believes. And but right now, no one's trying to hear it because she's been
Yeah.
gone for so long.
And
But that's enough about me defending my queen.
see in my situation again. Obviously, you already know I'm a big fan of brawlers. So my two picks, and I have to battle between the two, is one of them Shayna Baszler, because I miss NXT Shayna. I miss that shit. When she was when she was doing her thing in NXT, that was like she was killing it. But ever since then, obviously when she went to main roster and she had that one moment with the Survivor Series and then had a 1 minute elimination chamber, it's like, okay, cool, we're finally getting that. But now it's gone. So it was between that and Oscar, because thus that is another person where Oscar was amazing in the beginning, and then now creative doesn't know what to do with her, so she's just kind of floating. And there's no one that was one of my top favorites that's doing something like, you remember how you just said earlier you picked like the people who are like nobody's actually likes them, but not the fact that they're doing something bad. It's just, this is my favorite, but they're not doing anything right now and I hate it, compared to the people who are top, who are doing things consistent, right? Like the Tiffy Strattons and stuff like that, and Liv Morgan. I like Liv Morgan. Don't think she should be like champion compared to like having somebody like obviously Rhea, Bianca, and stuff like that. But they're like not my top faves. And I feel like I love Bianca. Love Bianca. Love Rhea. It's just nobody currently in that roster makes me go crazy. And it's kind of like everybody is in a, man, I love the entire division. Now, Jordan Grace, now that she's there, I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does. Because if they give her the presentation she deserves, it's going to be Jordan Grace.
Fair. Okay.
But
But for now, but at the moment, it's it's
right now,
between Asuka.
it's actually I'm gonna have to put Jordan Grace in there. So I'm gonna say currently right now, I'm gonna take a gamble on Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace, that's my favorite right now. I'm gonna take a gamble on that one.
Understood. And that's
Because I
for the
know,
female side.
yes, for guys, it's obviously gonna be Kane.
Yeah, no, like Kane
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
all-time favorite for the dude.
yeah.
Which is why I was like, because I mentioned it the last time, but like, yeah, Kane is all-time favorite. I don't have to go into why it's the reasons why he's my favorite is the same reason why he's on the Mount Rushmore. Greatest main event jobber of all time.
And
I
it's
can say that
funny.
because he's my.
And it's funny because Penta would be the same way for me, because anywhere he's gone, he's been somewhat of a main event jobber, except Lucha. Like
Now
if he went,
Now, is he your all time? For like, well, and I also am saying like this is all time for WWE. So,
Oh,
but
all time.
like,
Okay, so wait. So when we were talking about that before, that was all time anywhere. I thought it was all time anywhere.
no. This was specifically with well, I was saying across the board in WWE
Oh,
is was what I said. I
okay. Well
mean,
then,
Jordan Grace does technically still count,
she
but
is no. She's
because she
signed to
is
WWE now,
because
but
she's there now. But she
then
did
no,
most of her
no,
magic
no.
in
We can't count that then. We can't count that then. So
yeah, she did most of her magic in Impact Wrestling and a little bit in TNA.
so then that changes things. That definitely changes things. Um, sheesh. This is see, you had chance to like battle with this in your head, and now I gotta be put into that spot of like, so what you gonna do here, buddy? Because this really says a lot. So, jeez, dude. So WWE for the guys.
From
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come back to the women. Come
for
back to the women.
yes, so I'm talking from golden era to this Triple H era, all time favorite wrestler.
It's gonna be wild to say this one for the guys because when I grew
Al
up, I
Venus.
hate no. What the fuck? Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah, he's not a good person right now to be behind. Um,
Yep, he's on that list.
yeah, he don't believe in trans rights, so it's like, all right, man, I can't rock with you no more, bro. All those back in the day, can't rock with you no more. All right, if we're
That just made me
talking,
think about that time on No Mercy that he used to do. The
yes. You know, and it's
oh,
funny how he also had a segment, you know, stuff like that too. But um all time, and I'm saying this, and I used to hate his guts. Used to fucking hate his guts. But then as I grew older and started loving heels, there was no better person than fucking Triple H. Hands down. Triple H is my favorite heel back in the day, and it's specifically 2000 era Triple H. The Helmsley regime, best time for me, because then even still get to interact with Kane and making him do certain things that he did. So, but Triple H, it's gonna be Triple H because I feel like while Austin had a great run, because I would have said Austin had a great run. He didn't get me going like how Hunter did it. And there's one specific match that it's kind of like my top favorite match of all time. It's the one with him versus Cactus Jack at Royal Rumble. That is like my favorite damn match. It's the build up. It was the package that built that match up, and you just really wanted to root for Cactus, but you just know Triple H is gonna win this. And there was just something about that match that I was like, at that point in time, Hunter was like, and this is the guy. This is the guy for me. So it's Triple H. And now having to think back to it, all time women. It's gotta be Trish Stratus. It's gotta be Trish Stratus.
in my heart of hearts, that's what I knew. That's what I figured.
It's gotta be Trish. But you say like around the board, like from like who's a better like wrestler to me? But like Trish Stratus was just obviously a wrestler and a personality. And you know, through her, and that's what also made it tough because I'm looking at from the trajectory of I don't really go back for a favorite to me, I gotta kind of go back and watch her matches like a lot, and I do that often with Asuka and Shayna, but I don't do it a lot with Trish. So that's why I made it tough, because I'm thinking about rewatchability. Who am I gonna present to a person? Like, oh, this is my favorite wrestler. I'm presenting this to you. That's kind of how I thought about it, because if you're trying to prevent something, if you're trying to say, if somebody says who's your favorite wrestler and why, I automatically show them a match that says this is why. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that with Trish, because there's only like one match with Trish that I'm like, yo, you gotta watch that, and it was the Raw where she went against Lita for the title, and I think that was supposed to be either Lita's last match or Trish's last match. I can't remember.
Well,
you do know the one I'm talking about, though, right?
If you said on Raw, then that wouldn't have been any of their last matches, because maybe I'm wrong. I
might be wrong too. I might be wrong too.
Because I was about to say the last match that Trish Stratus had against Lita was at a pay-per-view.
You're right. That was just a title match. Okay. Something in my brain said that that match specifically was like a career ender kind of thing. I don't know why, but I think that was also the match where Lita Scorpion, like crazy Scorpion.
Yes.
Yes,
that was indeed. That Scorpion was rough. rough. And to confirm, because I decided to do it was indeed a pay-per-view, and it was Unforgiven. 2006.
Okay. But yeah. That's a tough, because I feel like, man, I get out the pod and I'm like, why the hell did I pick Hunter when it was supposed to be? And so it's like, that's a tough question, I think, for any fan.
Listen, I will allow you to think on it and possibly change your choice. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, because I'm pretty certain we should be right there on time.
Yes, we very much are.
I will even give you what the next question is going to be, because I'm gonna get the WWE ones out of the way. Because I want to know what was the all-time favorite, and so you don't answer now. We'll do it next week. But the next question was going to be, what is your current favorite wrestler in WWE?
Okay, see now, okay.
Which, funny enough, this.
Oh wait, we lost you.
This one was harder for me than it was.
Okay. No, you're here. We just lost you for a second. Wait, did I lose you completely? Oh no! The last minute of the pod. Don't tell me I lost him, dude.
Really? Am I here? Am I back?
Yeah, you're here. You just froze for a minute. I want to make sure you see that freeze frame, bro. That was crazy.
Jeez. We was doing so well, and then at the very last bit of the podcast, we get hit with the lag. God dog. But yeah, no.
We got hit with lag, but it was never bad. It was like a clip second. It was like a little second, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but that was bad.
But yeah, like trying to pick my current favorites was definitely harder. And even then, I'm looking at what I picked, and I actually still have to like narrow it down to just being one. As where all-time favorites, that was simple. And the thing I was going to say, and I'll let us be able to rest on it. When it came to Trish Stratus, in my mind, I knew it was Trish Stratus because as children, it was always Trish Stratus.
It was always Trish. It was, but it was Trish and Tori.
Going back then. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I was wondering if you would remember. Yep. You was Trish Stratus. I had Tori Wilson.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I wasn't trying to think with horny brain. I was trying to think with like, all right, man, great wrestler, but nah, horny brain, it's always gonna say Trish Stratus, and it also wrestler brain too, because she was a great wrestler as well.
In your defense, that was the only brain they was making you think with back then.
Yes. But if you got good other wrestlers like Ivory was great too. Ivory was great. Especially Jacqueline and Jazz.
Victoria.
But I was gonna say Victoria too, but it was like, no, it's like because she had a good run in WWE, but then a lot of her better stuff to me was in TNA. So it's like,
which is fair.
It's like that's a WWE question. So that's like, but if we start going to TNA stuff, that's tough, bro. I'm sorry, you go TNA, that's tough. That's so tough.
Because of the way that TNA is and the way TNA works, like we're going to have to spend like just a full podcast on TNA.
Yeah, that's tough. That's so tough, bro. That's so tough. Because TNA back in the day was just too good.
Oh, it was great. It is great, and I'm desperately needing to get myself back into the mix with it because they're good again. I mean, I feel as if there wasn't necessarily a point where they weren't good, but they were not great. But like, and there's a block of TNA that I missed that like I hear of the great things that did happen. And I'm just like, we'll get there. We'll get back to those things. But TNA right now is popping. But
that is true. But I'm gonna definitely sit on that question. I feel like as I review this, I'm probably gonna think in my head like, man, of all time, bro, why you didn't pick Jake the Snake? Why you didn't pick like? So we gonna have to come back to that question in my brain because that one's a tough one, dude. But I do want to thank you for your time, Swag Switch. As always, I know you are currently out and about. You got to do your things over there in Texas. And I want to say everybody else, in the comment section, please tell me your answers to your favorite WWE wrestler all time. And then same thing with your favorite female WWE wrestler of all time. And see, was it that tough of a question for you too? Some of you probably going to have a straight hands down answer. Some of you can probably have to think about it for a minute, but just from the male, female side, who was your favorite wrestler? And I think the other question was your favorite theme song. Favorite theme song across the board. What is your favorite? Please put those in the comment sections as well. We would love to review them and continue the conversation in the chat. But for the time being, it's the Masaku.
And it's your boy Swag Switch in the building. And the ones who are putting the comments in the comment section, don't be afraid to admit that your favorite female wrestler was Bertha Faye because she got room in my heart too.
Bertha Faye, I love you.
Listen, Bertha Faye was a bad bitch, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my Bertha Faye.
Oh my God. What words could I possibly say?
Yo, no, that's a throwback. You know what?
Underrated theme song.
No. That should be another one. This real quick before we go. Our favorite funny theme song, because remember we had certain ones that we were just like, this is hilarious. This is our favorite one.
I know where this is going.
You know, that's gonna be a whole bunch of laughs.
He's a man. Such a man.
Such a man. Yes, that is definitely going to lead into that. But we're going to save that for another episode, guys. Until next time, you're chilling here with the Big Brothers of Destruction podcast. And thank you for hanging out with us. Until next time. Peace.
Doses.